guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video. I am finally doing like a get ready with me full face first impression style video on my channel again. I feel like I get so many requests to do tutorials, get ready with me, is like show me how you got that eyeshadow look, first impressions, etc. And I am just so hesitant sometimes to sit down and do my makeup on camera because I'm a little bit self-conscious of like my makeup skills. So I decided to just kind of like get over that fear, and if you don't like it, then you don't have to come back and watch my first impressions or my get ready with me. But I thought it'd be fun to sit down, try a bunch of new drugstore makeup that I picked up. I feel like it's been so long since I picked up anything from the drugstore, so I went a little crazy. I picked up some things that I've been really interested in, and I am really excited to test out some new makeup with you guys today to create the look that we have on today. It's just a very basic look, but I'm still really excited. And if you guys are interested in seeing some of the new products to me, and not necessarily new to the market, but new products and how they perform on my face in this first impression style video, stay tuned. First, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would love if you would consider subscribing before you leave today. I post a minimum of 4 times a week, and I do tons of project panning, hauls, just like random videos about makeup. I just like to talk about makeup. So if you like to talk about makeup too, girl, join the party. Let's talk about makeup 4 times a week minimum. I would love if you would subscribe. I would love if you would subscribe before moving on, but other than that, let's just jump into this first impressions video. Okay guys, my eyes are stained pink right now. This is the second video I'm filming today, and I had created a look earlier with the Kaleidos Escape Pod, and it stained my eyelids, which is totally fine, but I am really excited to play around with. I have so much new makeup from the drugstore. I feel like it had been a really long time since I had purchased anything from the drugstore. Like, I'm trying to think of if I've purchased any drugstore makeup this year. So I kind of went a little bit crazy. Target had a deal a couple weeks ago for like if you spent $20 you got a free $5 gift card. So I did that a couple of times. And then I went to Ulta and picked up some things that I have been wanting to pick up for a while. I will have a drugstore haul that's probably already up, and it's going to be all the products that we're going to be playing around with today. Now, some categories I have multiples of, so we'll have to choose which one we want to use today. But if you guys want to see another trying new makeup or full face of drugstore, please do let me know in the comments. But let's just start. So I have already not primed. I have already moisturized my face. The only makeup product that I don't have a new drugstore product for, I believe, is, well, I don't have a new powder, but that's okay. I don't have a new foundation, so I just reached for my L'Oreal Pro Glow. This is a tried and true for me. I have gone through so many of these, but first let's jump into primer. And I actually have 2 different primers to choose from. I have this one from e.l.f. This is their Luminous Putty Primer. It's funny because I just recently finished up their just like original putty primer, and I was like on the fence of whether or not I would ever consider repurchasing it, but I am really interested in the glowy version of it, so I did decide to pick this up. Now, I have heard this can be a little bit glittery, but I am really, really curious about this product. And then the other primer that I have is this one from Essence, which I believe Taylor from the Tayla, I think that Tayla, recommended this to Jessica Braun in a video like at least a year ago. This is their Fresh and Fit Awake primer. I actually used to really enjoy the Fresh and Fit Awake foundation from Essence, but their shade range was not good, so I decided to not repurchase. I'm gonna go with the e.l.f. I wonder if I could do both. No, I'm just gonna go with the e.l.f. We're gonna keep it simple, and I'm just going to use the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Primer. So it does feel very similar to the other putty primer, but maybe just like a little bit more, I don't want to say greasy, maybe more smooth, not quite as putty-esque. But I'm just gonna take some. So I used to, with the old original putty primer, just really focus it in on my T-zone, and what I really loved about that primer is it was very pore filling, but at the same time it layered really, really nicely with other primers. So if I just wanted to use that in the T-zone and then go in with like a hydrating primer or a luminous primer, I could do that. And I never had any issues with pilling. So there it is, just in my T-zone. I need to grab a mirror. Okay, I had to get something to wipe my mirror off with. I almost feel like that primer is still like not 100% set. I am gonna add a little bit to my forehead. Yeah, I definitely feel like this is like, I don't know, I can't dig in the way that I used to be able to with the putty primer. So the consistency is definitely like a little bit different to me from what I remember, but I definitely do notice, sorry, my freaking area that I'm trying to get ready on is like a straight up disaster. I guess I can notice, I guess if I look really closely, I do notice like gold, like a gold sheen, maybe some gold glitter running through, but nothing like too obvious. And I do feel like it did a nice job of like smoothing out the skin. So I don't know how that ended up there. Can't remember if I got any on my chin. So we're just gonna, we might be going in super heavy with the primer here, but what can you do? What is life? We all know how much I love primer. Okay, so I do feel like now it is starting to get a little bit tacky, which I do appreciate. I like when my primer does feel a little bit tacky. You guys are probably horrified at how much I'm dragging at my face, but this is just who I am and how I get ready. Yes, I definitely do notice a bit of a glow. I don't know if it's, I feel like it's not coming across on camera, but in person I am noticing, like if it hits the light in a certain light, it is a little bit glowing, nothing too intense. And I have to look really closely to see like the actual like sparkle I feel like people are talking about. In fact, I don't even know if I notice any, like if I, maybe just like the tiniest amount of glitter, but nothing crazy. I forgot, so I do have two setting mists. I did pick up the Stay All Night Microfine setting mist from e.l.f. because I was curious if this is a dupe for the Urban Decay All Nighter. So I'm obviously going to use that at the end, but I also picked this one up from e.l.f. It's their Hydrating Coconut Mist, and I wanted to use this as like a priming spray, but totally forgot. So let's see how aggressive the mister is. I'll add a little bit right now. Ooh, that definitely does have a coconut scent, which I really like, but I know some people do not. Alex, if you're watching, I'm looking at you. Can't believe you don't like coconut scented things. I'm just kidding. But it does definitely have a coconut scent. And it does feel very hydrating on the skin. So I'm gonna let that dry down. That actually feels really nice on the skin. I'm gonna let that dry down and I will be right back to apply foundation. Ooh, while we let that dry down, I totally forgot that I also picked up the e.l.f. Ride or Die lip balm, and I got mine in the shade Tough Cookie. If you guys are not new to my channel, then you know I love me a good lip balm. These retail for $5, so obviously had to try it. So let's just put a little bit of this on. I can't decide. Oh, whoa. That comes out really quickly. Oh boy. This is gonna, okay. It is a little bit thicker than I had anticipated, but that's totally fine with me. It is a little bit, I don't know, I was expecting it to be more of a brown tone. I mean, it definitely has a little bit of an opacity to it without being like totally opaque. I actually really like that. I think that would be a cute tinted lip balm. Not that anyone is seeing our lip balms this year with the masks, but that's cute. Okay, moving on to foundation. Like I said, I don't have a new foundation, so I'm just going in with my L'Oreal Pro Glow. I have mine in the shade 202, which, oh, I forget how runny this is. I think is going to be a little bit too light for me right now. So I am going to just mix it in with one pump of my Drunk Elephant Debronzy drops on each side. And what I've been enjoying lately for my foundation application, especially if I want more of a sheared out application, is I've used this Luxie round top blender just to like shear it out or like start to blend stuff in. And then I've gone over with a beauty sponge. I don't even, like, I really don't think this round top blender is supposed to be used for foundation, but whatever. You can do whatever you want. There are no true rules to makeup, but as Robert Walsh always likes to say, there is a theory. Yeah, see, like, we're still not matching, but it is what it is. I wanted to make sure I used all Drugstore, and I definitely, my only other Drugstore foundation right now in my collection is the Revlon Candid, and that's even lighter than this. So I did, one of these orders was an online order, and because I spent, I don't know how much on e.l.f., I did get one of their sponges sent for free. This actually feels a lot nicer than I remember the e.l.f. sponges being, so I wanted to give this a try, and this actually is so much nicer than I remember the e.l.f. sponges being when, like, e.l.f. first released beauty sponges. I feel like they were so hard and so rough on the face. Yeah, that feels really nice on the skin. Okay, I actually feel like that sponge did a nice job of blending everything out, and this is going to be enough coverage for me today. I don't need full coverage by any means. This is a buildable foundation in my opinion. I have no problems when I build it, but I'm comfortable with the level of coverage. Again, I get it's not quite as tan as my body, but we're going to be okay with that. For concealer, I only have one concealer. I did pick up the the Milani Conceal and Perfect. I have wanted to try this for so long, and finally I was like, you know what, it's finally time. I have recently finished up quite a few concealers, so I didn't feel as guilty purchasing it, and I feel like this gets nothing but rave reviews. So I picked mine up in the shade 115 Light Nude, and I am going to put this on my eyelids. No, I'm not, because I have a product for my eyelids, but I am just going to put some underneath my eyes, and this might be a little bit too yellow for me. I always feel like every concealer I try just ends up being a little bit too yellow for me. I can't remember if this is like the lightest or the second lightest or the third lightest shade, but it does feel really nice and creamy and smooth. It feels like it's going to be really hydrating underneath the eyes, which I can really appreciate. I have really been enjoying like tapping things out with my finger to begin, just to like really warm it up into the skin and really like press it into my like under eye creases. And then I go in with my beauty sponge after. So that is what we are gonna do today. I feel like, I don't know that this is the best shade match for me, but we're just gonna roll with it. I'm sure we can make it work. I feel like I also applied too much. Like, I feel like a little bit is gonna go a really, really long way with this one. So I definitely feel like I did not need to apply that much concealer, but again, what is life, right? Sorry if you can hear my dog chewing his bone, by the way, or I have my woodwick candle burning. So you might be hearing some noises. At least it's not construction noises right now, right? Can we get an amen for that? Okay, here's what the concealer looks like blended out. I actually am really enjoying this e.l.f. sponge, which is exciting because my dog chewed up my Dose of Color sponge, which had turned out to be my favorite, and I really don't like the Morphe sponge anymore. That was like my one backup. And I just feel like I've been on the lookout for a new sponge, so this is actually really, really nice. I do feel like I probably could have gone in with less concealer. I feel like maybe we overdid it a little bit, but that's okay. We're gonna make it work. So now I feel like I have a really interesting kind of array of products. I have powder bronzer, powder highlight, and then for blush, my two blush options are both liquid blushes. So you guys might know that I've been getting a lot more into cream and liquid. My under eyes are so light right now. I've been getting a lot more into cream and liquid blushes. So I saw that Maybelline had this Cheek Heat Sheer Gel Cream Blush, and I picked this up at Target. I got mine in the shade Rose Flush. I just haven't tried a ton from Maybelline in general, so I thought it would be a fun product to try. But then when I was in Ulta the other day, I noticed that they have Milani has a new Cheek Kiss liquid blush, and I got mine in the shade 150 Wine Glow. I thought that this looked like a really, really pretty shade for the fall time, so I actually think we're gonna go with the Milani one today because I am really, really curious about this. Have you guys tried this one? It kind of reminded me a lot of the Flower Beauty liquid blushes just in the way that it is packaged. So I want to swatch first just to see. Ooh, this is pretty dark, but it does look brown, and you guys know I love a good like brown neutral blush, but this does look very brown, and it almost feels like it has a very gel-like consistency. It definitely feels a lot more gel-like than like the Glossier cloud paints. That shears out quite a bit too. Okay, so I am going to, my favorite way to apply liquid blush is with one of my favorite brushes from e.l.f. And the only reason I'm applying blush first is because it is liquid and I don't have a powder blush, and I'm a little bit worried about how this is gonna go. But I'm gonna apply it to my hand first. I'm a little bit nervous about this, you guys. So I'm gonna apply it to my hand. And then I wonder if, oh no, I don't want to cheat and use, do I have any cream? No. It's like, do I have a cream bronzer I could lay down to kind of like figure out where I want to place my blush? We're just totally guessing here. I've been liking to bring my blush up a little bit, like not necessarily just focus on the apples of my cheek, but almost do like a higher contour with my blush. And I'm just going to put this on like kind of sloppily to begin with. And we're gonna see how this blends out. So my favorite way to blend out liquid products or cream and liquid products is with the e.l.f. airbrush blender. So let's see how this is gonna blend out. That actually is blending out really, really easily, but is really, really sheer, which for beginners, I feel like would be really nice. I know for me personally, especially in the beginning when I was getting into cream products, like the sheer the better, or like the more buildable the better, because it can be quite scary working with cream products. Okay, so that is one layer. I mean, it definitely added some color to the cheeks, and honestly, if I was going for like a very natural look, I could just do like a tinted moisturizer and then just put a little bit of this on the cheeks, maybe do like a tinted brow gel and some mascara and be good to go. But I am going to see how this builds, and I'm going to try and go in with one more layer. I do think it is a really pretty color. I want to say this retails for $9.99. I will have everything listed down below in case you guys are interested in checking out any of these products. It is, yeah, a really, really gel-like consistency. I've not used a cream product that has a consistency quite like this, so very, very interesting. And then we will just see how that blends. Now I'm a little bit worried that it went a little bit heavy. Oh no. Definitely builds to a more pigmented look. Oh boy. Okay, we're gonna make this work. Do you guys have any brush recommendations for like smaller cream brushes? Because this one obviously, like, it's huge. I mean, it works well for me, but I do feel like sometimes I can get like a little bit of muddiness. I do have a couple brushes in this, a couple of these exact brushes, just so I am not constantly using the same one. But what are your favorite brushes to use for cream and liquid products? I would love to hear from you guys. Okay, so that's what 2 layers of the 150 Wine Glow looks like. It definitely does offer a glow to the skin too, which I really appreciate. I wish that this had released, and I actually don't know how long this has been on the market, but a little bit earlier in the summer, and maybe it has, and I just am first discovering it now. But this is beautiful, and I think would have been beautiful like earlier in the summer as well. Typically in the winter I opt for more of like a matte blush, but this is really, really pretty. So now it's gonna get a little bit weird because we're gonna go in with, I have both the Essence Pure Nude highlighting palette that I picked up, as well as the Sun Matte bronzing powder. I feel like I almost need to set my face with a powder just because that L'Oreal Pro Glow never really truly sets down. So I actually am going to use my RC Mag powder just so I can be using an affordable product. And I'm going to set my face and we'll see what the blush, we'll see how well the blush comes through when you layer a powder on top. Okay, so I have my RC Mag powder in an old Laura Mercier container. And my favorite way to apply a brush has been with the Juno & Co. microfiber sponge. I don't know what it is about this sponge, but I just like the way that I can press powder into my skin. Oh boy, I say that and now I'm like, okay, I feel like I look a little bit scary. I feel like I maybe went in a little bit heavy with that, but I do feel like you can still see that blush through. Obviously it's not giving the glow that it did before we applied the powder, but I mean, what can you expect? But yeah, I definitely still can see the blush through. I'm just gonna go ahead and set my forehead while I have my powder out. And then to set my powder in, I actually am gonna go back in with the Hydrating Coconut Mist and just see how this will work to kind of melt my powders together. This actually, especially this, probably just because of the scent, reminds me a lot of my Ciate London Everyday Vacay. Even like the sprayer is very similar. So if you were wanting this, you could probably just opt for this, especially just keep in mind it is coconut scented. Okay, so here we have the Essence Sun Matte Bronzing Club Powder Palette. I do believe there are two different options in this palette, and this retails for $9.99. And actually, when I purchased this, Essence was buy one, get one half off. So I got this guy for a half off, which was really, really nice. I picked up the lighter of the two, so this is what this one looks like. And it looks so beautiful, you guys. I'm trying to decide which shade I want to go with. I think I'm going to go with this one right here. It looks to be pretty neutral with just like a hint of warmth. So I'm going to see. We're going to test it on maybe my forehead first. I'm going to see. Okay, so there is some, I don't know if you'll be able to see. There is a little bit of powder kick up, but I literally never ever care about powder kick up, you guys. It just does not bother me. And I am someone who really likes to bronze up a lot, you guys. Like, I like to over bronze. It's just my thing. Okay. That is pretty warm. But I do feel like it probably is a pretty decent shade match for my self-tan. I always make fun of myself for the way that I like tan too. I always feel like my arms are like flapping around and it's ridiculous. Okay, then I'm going to take a smaller brush but still go in with that same color. I'm going to see if you guys can see the kick up. I don't know how well you see? I don't know. And then we will bronze up the cheekarooskies. Okay, so that is what the bronzer looks like with that, I almost said glow, with that blush still kind of shining through a little bit. Typically, if I were to do this, I would then go in with like a powder blush on top. In fact, I may, let me see what I have for affordable powder blushes in my collection. Okay, so I have this one from ColourPop. This is from their Fresh and Peachy, no, this is from their, yeah, Fresh and Peachy line, or is it in the shade Fresh and Peachy? But it is just this really beautiful peach blush shade. So I'm just going to add this to my cheeks as well. I oftentimes will do like a cream bronzer, a cream blush, and a cream highlight, and then set with powder, and then go over with a powder bronzer, blush, and highlight. I know that's like literally the most extra thing in the world, but I've just been living for it lately. I don't even know how well you'll be able to see that blush, but it just adds a little extra warmth to the cheeks. Okay, so next I have the Essence Pure Nude Highlighting Palette. I believe again that there are two different options for this palette. This is what this looks like. Very, very beautiful options. You have, let me swatch them. I have like, I mentioned this, I think in my Odin's Eye review. But I almost wish that I didn't get tattoos on my left arm. Not that I was like really thinking about it, because it really makes swatching difficult. Ooh, this shade right here looks really beautiful. So here, oh my gosh, let's just go on top of the arm. Okay, so first we have this first shade, which feels a little bit dry and powdery, I'm not gonna lie. And this looks to be almost like a duochrome purple sort of highlight. And then next, the next shade feels a lot creamier. I'm really great at swatching, clearly. There is the next shade, and that is this shade right here. This one feels a lot creamier than this one, and this looks beautiful, almost like a white gold shade. So next, let's go into this champagne shade. Again, this one feels a lot creamier than that first purple one did. Ooh, this looks super beautiful too. That just looks like a true champagne. And then the bottom shade, which is the, I would say, darkest shade in the palette, looks to be almost like a yellow gold. This one feels kind of dry like that first one, not quite as creamy. And this one definitely is, yes, more of a yellow gold. So I think I might mix these two to see what we can come up with on the cheeks. Where is my highlighter? Okay, so I'm a little bit nervous. I always get nervous when using new products. There is a lot of kick up. Let me see if I can show you guys. Okay, watch the, there's a lot of kick up. So we're gonna just see how that looks. Okay, I feel like that just looks like a stripe on my face. We're gonna see if we can blend that out a little bit. Okay, that looks very intense, but also really kind of like just like a really stark stripe of highlight. I'm gonna go over this with my beauty sponge and see if I can get this to blend in a little bit better. Let's see. I don't know about this, you guys. I don't know how I am feeling totally about the highlighters. I feel like they're a little bit harder to blend out. Like they just kind of sit on the skin. And maybe if I used a fluffier, less dense brush, I would like it a little bit better. But I'm not 100% sure how I am feeling about that highlight formula. I mean, straight on it looks pretty, but like, I feel like I need to clean this up. We're looking a little bit muddy. I feel like we're looking a little bit muddy, and I don't like it. More to come on the highlighting palette. Not so sure. Oh no. Alright guys, moving on to the eyes. So this is actually weird. I almost always do eyes first, so this feels really, really weird for me to be doing eyes last. I picked up the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer because this reminded me of the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. And I've been getting more and more into eye primers. So this is what this one looks like. So I am going to, ooh, this feels really dry. Like a lot drier than the MAC Painterly Paint Pots. And I also feel like it looks a little bit more sheer. Okay, so we're going to try and spread this out onto my eyelid. It is a really dry formula, which can have pros and cons. What is nice is that I feel like pretty much immediately as I'm swiping it on, it's drying down, whereas like some eye primers you have to like let sit there for a couple minutes before you really can kind of blend it out. I do like that. I feel like it definitely shadows or like takes away from the stained eyelids. So there definitely is some pigment to that, which I appreciate, because typically in the morning I feel like I have like very veiny or like red/blue eyelids in the first place, even when my eyelids aren't stained. So I do like that it offers pigment. It's just really dry. Like, I feel like I keep having to go in and keep having to warm the product up. And maybe it's a situation where after I use it for a week or so, it'll, I don't know, warm up a little bit. Otherwise, sometimes products can also dry out. But I do like that it's almost like an immediate set. I can't remember how much this cost. It was maybe $5. That is really tacky though too. That's really nice. Okay, so I think I actually really do like that. I guess it is a little bit, like, it takes a little bit to like dunk in and stuff, but I like that it is super, super tacky, and it pretty much masked the stained eyelids. So I have a ton for the eyes. So let me share with you what I got. I finally caved and picked up a couple of the e.l.f. bite-sized quads. For the longest time I was like, I am not feeding into the hype. I don't care. They're just 4 pans. Like, yes, the quality is probably good for the price, but I'm not gonna get it. But here we are. I did decide to buy 2. So I picked up Berry Bad, which is this really beautiful like berry toned mauve-y one, and then I also picked up Pumpkin Pie, which is just a really beautiful neutral one. I thought this would be really nice for the summer. And then I also could not help myself when I saw this, and I am really skeptical because this is, I have my freaking screen on my camera has this spot and it makes me look like I have a mole, and I can't get it to clean off. Anyway, I picked this up from NYX. I hadn't seen this one before. This is the Ultimate Shadow Palette in the shade Ultimate Utopia, and I just like die over green shades. You guys know I just cannot get enough green. Even though color does intimidate me, I've been playing around with color so much this year, but I feel like I hear not the best things about NYX eyeshadow formula, so I am a little bit worried about it. But I do really want to play around with this today as opposed to these, which I feel like you guys have seen a million times over. And then I also have a couple of just singles. So I did pick up one of the Essence Melted Chrome eyeshadows. This is in the shade Iconic, and let me just swatch this for you. Ooh, that feels super creamy, and that is beautiful. Wow, that is, ooh, that's like a really beautiful, like icy, almost silver, but like also kind of champagne shade. I feel like if you paired this with green eyeshadow too, you could pull out like a green reflect from it. And then from NYX, I also really wanted to try one of their, if I could get this off, I wanted to try their, ding, 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 ding. What is this called? The Foil Play Cream Eyeshadow, and I got mine in the shade Baroque. I don't know. Oh, are you kidding me? There's another sticker on this. I'm gonna have to vacuum my office today. Okay, so this is what this one looks like. A beautiful copper shade. Oh, whoa, that is really creamy. I was not expecting that. That is like more like an actual cream, but that is freaking beautiful as well. Wow. That is gonna be beautiful for the fall time. Holy smokes. Okay, now comes the hard part of deciding like what do I actually want to do. I know I want to play around with greens. I think I might go like neutral in the eyes, just because like neutral in the crease, and then just like pop green in, and then maybe we'll see how this melted chrome lays on top of one of these like shimmery greens. We're gonna play it like kind of easy today because honestly doing my makeup on camera stresses me out so much. Also, I feel like it might storm later tonight, and I'm freaking pumped. It has been such a dry summer here, and I like when it rains because I feel like then like you know when you have like a black soul, I feel like I just have like a black, I always refer to myself as the black souled bitch, which is funny because I actually like genuinely feel like I care way too much all the time about literally every person, but I always refer to myself as a black souled bee because then no one can hurt me. But I love when it rains because I feel like the weather is being emotional for me, so then like you guys know what I'm talking about, where it's like, oh my gosh, like it's just like a gloomy day And like now I don't have to feel gloomy because the weather's being gloomy for me. You guys probably think I'm crazy. Okay, so digging into this palette, I'm first gonna set my base just using this all over like matte lid setting shade. I don't know if these have names. Nope, they're just numbered. Okay. Wouldn't it be cool if I like eventually got to be such a good YouTuber that I could like, which if I continue to do like get ready with me's, which I actually really do want to. I've actually been doing some Skillshare classes to hopefully up my editing game, but wouldn't it be cool if I had like a picture of this and then did like where they do like the star or the heart as I'm getting ready. I don't know if you guys are even tracking what I'm saying, but so you guys could follow along and know what I'm doing. I mean, for a lid setting shade, that seems to be working really nice. It is really hard to formulate like a good lid setting shade. You know what I mean? That was a joke. Okay. I need to clean my brushes. Story of my life. Okay, next I'm gonna go in with this shade right here in my crease. And I'm not really getting any kick up at all in this. It like almost makes me feel like I'm gonna get no pigment on the eyes. Hold on. I'm gonna use this as my mirror. Okay, let's see. Am I getting, oh yeah, I'm getting some pigment there. Yes, yes, all right. Which, it's not like the most pigmented shadow, but that's fine. Like, building an eyeshadow is actually okay, unless we're talking about the Ultraviolet palette from Urban Decay. I was very disappointed in the buildability of that palette. This actually is blending out really nicely. I mean, I have no complaints. I'm not gonna lie, I was very, very nervous to purchase a NYX palette because I was like, oh, it's like $18 and I feel like people always complain about the quality of NYX shadows, so do I really want to spend $18 on an eyeshadow palette when like I could get a different one for just like a little bit more? But so far the first two shades that I am using are blending very easily. Okay, I do feel like it takes a bit of building, but again, that is a-okay with me. And honestly, this shade is something that I could easily just pop into my crease and like call this good for work because it's just super, super neutral. I do want to deepen this up, and then like I said, I'm going to go in with a green shade. I'm going to try and keep it as like short, sweet, and simple as we can because I haven't done a get ready with me like this in like over a year. So we're just getting back into the groove of things. I'm taking this shade right here, which is more of a medium toned brown. Now that I'm looking at this palette, you guys, I don't know how well this palette would work for anyone with more of like a medium to deep skin tone, just because, I mean, I'm sure the shimmers would be like pretty, but like, it is lighter in pigmentation and it does take building. So that is something to bear in mind, and that's something I am trying to be at least a little bit more conscious of as I review products on my channel. Like, who is this actually going to work for? Is it going to work for everyone? Are there other options, etc.? So I'm going to keep going into that shade and just further building the crease. I'm going to go for a pretty dark crease just because we're going to play around with that green. I feel like I'm having no issues blending this guy either. Sorry if I keep looking this way. This is like where my like big mirror is. I gotta figure out a better filming setup, but like I don't want to get a third desk for my office because I feel like it's just gonna end up getting like super crowded. Do you guys know what I mean? And I don't want to live in clutter. I like this. I have this corner of my office that has like a big, I forget what they're called. They're kind of like the egg chairs, but like not. They're like the circular, I forget what they're called. They're the circular chairs. And it's like this corner of my office for reading. I cannot wait for like the fall, winter, like colder times where I can just like sit in my chair and read. But I also like to keep space in my office to like do yoga and meditation, which I have not been doing. And my mental health has been seriously suffering because of it. So we got to get back to that. So I can't be adding a third desk to my office and creating clutter and space for me to not put in the work that I need to put in work for my mental health. I don't know if I'm making any sense right now. Okay, those two blended together like truly really easily. Please don't make fun of my blending skills or lack thereof. Seriously, please don't. Okay, so now just looking at the palette, I either want to go in with this shade right here, which looks to be one of my favorite types of shades, which is like this red green duochrome shade. Yes, there it is swatched right there. It doesn't look like the most intense. Or there's this shade right here, which appears to be a lot bit more textured. I don't know if this is like a legit pressed glitter, but it definitely has some texture to it. And that does not look to be the most pigmented. So, ooh, I have an idea. Okay, I'm going to lay down this NYX. This might be a total disaster, but I'm going to lay down this NYX Foil Cream Play eyeshadow, and then I'm going to see how that red brown shade layers on top of this. So this literally is like a putty cream. So I'm going to have to make sure I keep my lid screwed on tight for this. Wow, that is like seriously freaking beautiful. Like if you just want like a nice fall look, I would recommend, sorry, I'm covering up my like application with the mirror. Wow. Like literally all you would have to do is have like a neutral transition, a deeper brown shade, and then this, which I believe is $6. Holy smokes, look, I hope that's not even like doing it justice on camera. That is so stinking beautiful. You could do like a winged liner and it would just be like the most fall look. Like please, when you go get your first pumpkin spice latte of the season, you need to wear a look like this because this is stunning. This makes me want to like run to Ulta and go grab more of these, even though when I went to Ulta they were only down to like 1 or 2 shades, which blows. But I'm glad that I was able to pick this shade up because I feel like this is going to be absolutely stunning for the fall. How beautiful is that? Okay, so I'm gonna try and let that maybe like set down on my lid, just because yeah, it actually already feels like it's pretty much set down on my lid. I wonder if, I think I'm gonna try and just deepen up the crease. Oh no, my camera battery's gonna die. I'm gonna switch that out quickly. Okay, for like a little bit different, sorry, my camera battery died and I had to switch that out. I'm gonna see if I can deepen up, just deepen up the crease. Oh boy, just a little bit more. Ugh. It does make me nervous. I wonder how, I feel like this is gonna chalk swatchy, or swatch chalky. I don't want to add that. Do I have a deep brown? You know what? I'm going to go into this e.l.f. Berries and Cream, especially if we're going to be adding like a red brown shade. Did I just say berries and cream? I totally meant very bad. I cannot get this open either. I should have opened everything. Okay, I'm going to go in. Let's see if I can take that sticker off. I'm going to go in with this deepest shade in the Berry Bad palette for e.l.f. and I'm just going to see if I can deepen up the crease just a little bit more. Where's a nice, more precise brush? There we go. Oh, I forgot I got an Essence brush I wanted to try too. I'll have to save that for another video. I feel like it's adding like a little bit of depth, but maybe not the most. I am telling you guys, that cream shadow from NYX is something else, especially for the price point, $6. I think that's worth every penny. I just got the Rowan palettes, the like the quads, which are like $42, which have like one shade in them, I think, that has like a more creamy and unique texture, but for $6, I mean, wow. That is pretty. Okay, so then I'm going to dip back into the Ultimate palette, and then I'm going to go back into the darker brown shade and just try and blend that out. Is anyone else like the most least patient person when it comes to blending? Like truly, I have started to take more time with my blend and notice like when I look back at like 2016 era Steph and her eyeshadow looks, like I truly chuckle out loud because I did not take the time to blend it all. Granted, my daughter was like a lot younger at that time, so I mean, now she can kind of like entertain myself while I'm blending my eyeshadow, and back in the day she definitely required a lot more attention. But I still, like, I just cannot get myself to spend like too long on an eyeshadow blend. I do notice a little bit of fallout. I wish I had done my eyes first, but I do want to jump into that green brown shade, and green red shade, and see how that applies on top of this. And maybe it's going to be a total bust on top of this. Like I said, you could stop here, you could do a brown eyeliner in the lash line, lower lash line, like smoke it out, and you could be good. This would be like the perfect fall look. But I'm going to take this shade right here, and first I'm going to try it with a dry brush, and we're just going to see. I feel like I'm ruining the beauty of that cream shadow by adding this. Okay, let's see. Can we focus on my eyes? Can we just focus on my eyes, please? Thank you. Definitely getting fallout here too, which is no bueno. Okay, I'm gonna do this eye with not wetting my brush, and then I'll wet my brush for the other side so that we can kind of compare. I don't hate this. I actually don't even dislike it. I just feel like I probably could have just left it at the with that cream shadow and been fine. But if you do want to bring in a little bit of green, like, this definitely works. So now let me wet my brush, and let's see how this applies to the other eye with a wet brush. I honestly don't know that I noticed that much of a difference. Maybe it's like a little bit smoother, but I truly don't know that I notice that much of a difference when using the two of them. I probably would not layer these the next time. I don't know if I'm loving this shade specifically. I definitely prefer like the red brown shade out of the Natasha Denona palette, which is $129, so probably what you would expect. But I mean, this is okay. Interesting. And then I wonder, okay, let's just go into the Essence Metal Chrome just for shits and gigs and tap that on like the center. Do we even notice that? Not really. Not really. This is my problem, you guys. Like, I should just end a look, and then I just like keep adding stuff, and then before you know it, I'm like, oh, I've definitely gone too far. I probably should just stop here. I think what I'm gonna do, oh, you know what I forgot? I ended up picking up another one of the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencils so that I could use this as a white base. Did I pick up? No, I have purple eyeliners. I don't have an eyeliner. Shoot, I'll go in with my Essence number 2 eyeliner. So this is one of my favorite eyeliners. It's in the shade 2, but first espresso. It's from Essence, and it retails for $2.99. It is truly like one of the best eyeliners ever at such an affordable cost. It always stays in my waterline. Okay, next I think I'm going to take some of the darkest shade from the Essence bronzing palette, and I'm just going to stamp that really close to my upper lashes, just to add a little bit. I don't even know what that adds. Does that add depth, dimension? I honestly don't know. I have so much fallout on my cheek right now. It is bad. Yikes, am I going to be able to clean this up? I really don't know. Okay, I don't even know if that added anything other than maybe some pigment to my eyelashes. I am going to quickly go do brows off camera just because I don't have a brow product. No, I don't have a brow product, and I also don't have a new mascara, and I'm going to try and clean up some of the fallout, and I will be right back. Okay, I always feel better when we got the brows. And now we have the mascaras. Now I'm gonna add something to the lower lash line. Okay, I briefly lost my palette, but she back. Okay, so I'm gonna jump back into the NYX Ultimate Utopia palette, and I'm just gonna mix this shade and this shade to smoke out the lower lash line and kind of just do like a basic smoked out lash line, you know? We're just going super basic with the look today. I will say I can definitely see the green in the eyeshadow, like when I look really close. I don't think you guys will be able to see on camera, but I would be curious to see how it would look with like a white base if I had gone in with that NYX Jumbo pen as opposed to doing like the copper underneath. I'd be really curious to see how that would look. I'm not loving the cheeks. I feel like we're looking a little bit muddy. I am next going to go in with this shade right here for the inner corner highlight. And I definitely have some of the like copper shade that just, okay, that's more matte than I had anticipated. What do we want to do for the inner corner highlight? Maybe I'll go in. Okay, we're gonna go into the Pure Nude highlighting palette, and I'm gonna go into this shade to highlight the inner corner. That's a lot better. But I definitely did get some of that like copper cream shade in the inner corner, so I feel like it's not looking perfect. I definitely would do my eyes first next time. I'm so used to doing my eyes first and being like more sloppy with it, so I can just clean it up like as I do my face. So next time I'm definitely gonna do that. But this is a beautiful inner corner highlight, that is for sure. So there is the inner corner highlight, and then lips is all we have to end with. So I do have, I thought I had a lot of lip. Maybe I don't. Do I just have two? Maybe I just have two. So I have two from e.l.f. I have their tinted lip oil. I've been super into lip oils. And then I have their Sheer Slick Wild Peach. Whatever this is. Is that really all I had for lips? Yeah, I guess it is. Okay, so I am really curious about, oh boy, about this. I don't necessarily know that it's gonna match the look. I mean, it is pretty sheer. Should we just give it a go? Let's just get a go. Okay, so it does have a tint to it. Oh, whoa, that really has a tint to it. Okay, so for a sheer product, I mean, you are getting a tint. Oh man, I feel like I have clown lips. Okay, that's like more red than it is peach too. Interesting. I just want to top it with the lip oil just to kind of see then. So this is the lip oil in the shade Coral Kiss. If I'm not mistaken, I think I got this on clearance at Target. So I don't know if they're phasing these out or just out of Target, but I did get mine on clearance. That does feel really nice and thin, which I prefer from my tinted lip oils. I mean, I don't mind the combo either. I like that it's like a really sheer glossy sort of lip. I just don't know that I would necessarily have paired this with this eye look, but this is what we're working with my first Get Ready With Me in over a year. So this actually, oh wait, no. Then we have, I gotta peel the sticker off, of course, because I'm never prepared. Then we have the Makeup Setting Mist from e.l.f., the Stay All Night Microfine Setting Mist. I am really curious to see if this does make the makeup last longer. This is one that you do have to shake up. I will say we'll go through the products at the end. Okay, so let's first see what the mist is like. That's nice. That is actually like a nicer mister than the Urban Decay All Nighter. It definitely has a fragrance to it. Hold on. But it's like a nice clean fragrance. It doesn't smell as like alcohol-y as the Urban Decay All Nighter. I actually really like that. I want to look at the ingredients. So alcohol is the second ingredient. So when that's the case, you just want to avoid using that product like multiple days in a row because it can dry out your skin. But I really like that. This may have been a situation if I was not doing like a full face first impressions. I would have gone in with like a glowier setting mist and then finished it off with this. But I'm really hoping that this makes my makeup last longer, because that would be a good dupe for the Urban Decay Eyeliner if it did. And I like the way that this one smells a lot better. But after that, you guys, next time I'm definitely doing my eyes first. After that, this is going to be the completed look for today's video, kind of just like a basic fall look, testing a bunch of new products. Let's quickly run through everything that we tested today, if I can find it all. So first up, the e.l.f. lip balm. Obviously, first impression, this comes out really thick. Be careful with how you squeeze it onto your lips. It did offer a nice tint. I feel like I've heard like the clear one specifically might have like a minty sort of feel to the lips. I didn't notice that at all with this, and I do feel like this wore away after like an hour or so. I don't know that it felt the most nourishing on the lips, but for $5, I mean, this seems like it would be a nice one to kind of put on as you apply your makeup, just to like prepare your lips for whatever lip product you're going with. So I mean, the jury's out on all of these products because it is a first impression. I will obviously come back to update you guys in the next like 4 to 6 weeks on how I'm feeling about everything. But so far, so good with that. For the e.l.f. Hydrating Coconut Mist, this may be like an extra step sort of product, but I love the scent of coconut. And this is one that I could see like, especially like summer, which I know summer is over. Let's be honest. This would be a nice one to toss in like a beach bag, or toss in a bag if you, or even like have in your car if you get hot and just want to like refresh throughout the day. This might be a nice priming mist. It does say it hydrates the skin and refreshes makeup. It has hyaluronic acid and vitamin E. So could be a good priming spray even before like a moisturizer, especially if you were going in with a hydrating moisturizer. The hyaluronic acid in this could really help draw that moisture from your hydrating primer and really lock in that moisture. So I'm going to continue to try this out as both a priming spray and a kind of like in between makeup spray, and I'll let you guys know if you don't like the scent of coconut, you will not like this because it does smell like coconuts. Next up, I have a mess here. Oh, I really want to say I like the e.l.f. sponge a lot so far. Very impressed with that. The Milani blush, definitely a very unique consistency. I kind of dig it. I kind of dig the gel-like consistency, and it does offer a really beautiful glow to the skin. I really like the shade that I selected, Wine Glow. I think that this would be beautiful both for the winter to give you more of like that darker sort of cheek look, or also in the summertime as well, because it kind of just adds like almost like a bronzed effect to the cheek. I love a good bronzy blush. So really impressed off first impression. Again, first impression. But ooh, I forgot about the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Primer. I mean, so far so good on this. Do I think that this is something that I'll repurchase after I finish this? No, probably not. Curiosity killed the cat with this one, and I just had to know what the luminous one was like because I do love a good luminous primer, and I liked the e.l.f. Putty Primer, but it wasn't like a ride or die. So I mean, this was fine. I'll continue to test it, but I don't think that this is going to become a staple in my collection that is going to be a continual repurchase. As far as the Essence Pure Nude bronzing and highlighting palettes, I'm not sure about these, you guys. I know so many people rave about these, but I found that the formula in both was pretty powdery, which normally doesn't bother me, but looking at it on my skin, I just feel like it feels like it's almost sitting on my skin rather than being like one with my skin. So I don't know, I'm definitely gonna have to continue to try. I do like the variety of tones, specifically in the bronzing palette. I think it is beautiful, so I'm just gonna have to play around with these a little bit more to kind of really gauge an opinion on this. I for sure like 2 of the 4 shades out of the highlighting palette, and for $10, that's still a good deal in my opinion. This one, again, I just felt like was a little bit harder to blend in and looks more like it's sitting on top of my skin rather than giving me like that wet glossy sort of effect that I've really been into. So I'm gonna have to keep trying this one. In terms of eyes, I only used the one shade out of the e.l.f. Bite Size palette, so I really can't review these at all yet, but I definitely will test out both of these and get back to you on that. For the NYX Ultimate Bright, I didn't use a ton, not Ultimate Bright. For the NYX Ultimate Utopia, I didn't use a ton of shades out of this either, but the shades I did use were fine. I would say the mattes, I really enjoyed the way that they blended. They blended really easily. I feel like this would be a good like beginner friendly palette in terms of the mattes that I used, although I just used two of the like easiest shades to formulate. Hello, Weston. You looking out the window? I would be curious, and I will be curious to see how some of the deeper shades perform. And then the shimmery shade, I would be curious to see how this performs on its own. I do think it's beautiful on top of that single shadow, which I'll get to in just a minute, but I would be curious to see how this performs on its own. I don't feel like it's going to be the most buildable shade, so we'll see about this one. I'm not sold on this palette yet, but I am excited to continue to play around with that. In terms, oh, I forgot about the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer. Dry formula, but I will be interested to keep testing this out because I do like that it's set down very quickly, as opposed to like my Urban Decay Primer Potion sometimes takes a little bit and can still be a little slippy and slidey if you try and set it too early. I will be curious to see if this formula like dries out really quickly though, just because it is a drier formula. But so far I actually am impressed with this. And then in terms of the two singles, I just tapped this on top of my lid, so I really can't give much of a review on the Essence Melted Chrome eyeshadow, other than the swatch was absolutely stunning. And just based off the swatch alone, I definitely would be interested in picking more of these up. The NYX Foil Play Cream eyeshadow, absolutely stunning for $6. I am definitely interested in picking up more of these. This is another one though, I will be very interested to see how quickly the formula dries out, just because it is a wet texture, almost like a wet putty like texture that then dries down on your eyelids. So I will be interested to see kind of how that plays out. And then the two lip products, I mean, a sheer slick, which was more than just a sheer slick. I think it's a really pretty color. This is another one that I feel like would have been really, really beautiful for the summer. So I'll have to go back and see what other shades, like do they have a fall shade? Maybe like a brownie rosewood sort of shade would be beautiful. And then I don't know if these are getting phased out or if they were just clearance at Target and I got lucky, but the e.l.f. Tinted Face Oil feels really lightweight on the lips. But that's really all I can say about this as of so far, based off of my first impressions. And then finally, the e.l.f. Stay All Night Microfine Setting Mist. I really like the way that this mists out. It's actually a nicer mister in my opinion than the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. The true test will be whether or not this actually makes my makeup last longer. And if it does, this is going to be my new go-to. It does say up to 16-hour wear. So I, so far like it, but we'll have to see if it makes my makeup actually last longer. But after that, you guys, that is going to conclude today's video. A full face first impressions of a bunch of not necessarily new, but new to me drugstore makeup. If you have recently picked up anything from the drugstore, let me know what you picked up. Is there anything that you think I need to run out and try? Which reminds me, I forgot to review the Milani Conceal and Perfect Concealer. First impressions, this feels super hydrating. It feels like a little bit will go a long way. I think I went a little too heavy with this, and I think the shade that I picked up is a little bit light for me for my summer shade, but I think will be perfect for me in the winter. But so far so good with this one as well. But like I was saying, if you guys have recently tried anything from the drugstore that you love, I would love to hear from you guys. If you've tried any of these products, I would love to know your opinions. Other than that, if you made it till the end of the video, thank you so much for sticking around to watch and for supporting my channel as you always do, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye.